So there are two things that happened that transitioned my stance from liberal to green, then conservative. Obviously, I'm Muslim. I believe in God. So conservative values, something that I believe in and stand for. I had a major change of heart when Trump was president the first time around. Now, I admit that I bought into the whole he's racist, he's crazy, don't listen to him, he's mean, he's evil. I kind of bought into that rhetoric. And I fell into certain traps, when they play snippets and they rearrange speeches and they cut off his answers and things like that. And I just bought into basically the narrative. But I would find myself watching the news more often than usual because I'm totally into the don't watch the news, stay away from the negative vibe, make sure your paradigm is positive and encouraging and things like that. During the time we were in COVID and it was important to know what were the rules, what we were allowed to do, where we were allowed to go, and things like that. So I was watching the news a little bit more often than usual. And I noticed something. The media was very nasty to Trump. Journalists were super disrespectful. I heard journalists, reporters, pundits, celebrities, people talked about him, spoke to him in ways that I had never seen in my entire life. Disrespect the President of the United States in such a way that they cut him off when they were speaking. They refused to address him by his title. News anchors would cut off mid-speech, mid-response to reporters' questions and roll their eyes and laugh and just spew hateful adjectives. And I was disgusted. Now, mind you, at the time, I was a Democrat. I was a liberal. Considered myself to be one my entire life. And I was disgusted. I was embarrassed. I was just enraged. Like, who are you to not address this man as what he is, the President of the United States? We don't respect the President of the United States because we like him personally. It's about respecting the office that he holds. He's the President of the United States. That's it. You address him as such. You say, yes, sir. You say, no, sir. You say, of course, Mr. President. You literally wanted nothing to do with a party of people that felt it was okay to talk about their own president like that. It just seemed too much, almost artificial. It started to feel like, okay, these people they hate him too much. Like, there's no way that you hate this man this much. Everybody hates him this much. I'm not buying it. It started to look artificial. It started to look forced. It started to feel extremely uncomfortable. And for him to just deal with it, put up with it, still answer questions, still show up to press conferences, still fight for the American people. For me, it was a testament to his resolve and his self-respect and his willingness to stick things out. Now, this is years before any assassination attempt or, he's endured some of the nastiest behavior and vile attacks within the political realm that I've ever seen, I've ever experienced, I've ever witnessed or heard of. And it didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel even legitimate. Like, people hate him too much. Like, there's a point where you realize that something is fake when you notice everybody on the bandwagon. So then that feeling started to trickle into my feeling about America, about being an American, being born here, and my parents and their 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 parents being born here. I am an American. And so being encouraged because my skin is brown to hate where I come from, it started to not make sense. It started to be like, wait a second, why am I allowing people that don't look like me to encourage me to hate where I come from? To hate any and all level of authority or law and order. defunding the police and defaming statues and like, no, I don't want to support that. I don't support that. That is not appropriate. So just like whether or not you like the president has nothing to do with respecting the office that he holds, I started to see it the same way with the country. Whether or not I agree with every single act or event or law and implemented in this country has nothing to do with whether or not I love this country. I love my country because this is where God intended and placed me to be born. Okay? I love the nature here, the animals here. I love the mountains, the rivers, the lakes, the forests. I love, I love the air. That's why I love America. I love America because it's mine. I love America because it's me. I love America because whatever and however God places us here, he placed me here. And I appreciate that. And I'm grateful for that. I wasn't born in that country or that country or that country or that town or that city. I wasn't born under a culture that spoke that language or that language or that one. I was born in the United States of America. I was born at a time where we speak English in this country. And so therefore, I love it. And for me, it's as simple as that. I love that I can believe what I believe freely, exercise my right to religion freely, openly. I love that I can speak my mind without worry of a lot of things. So the freedoms that are afforded to me in this country is why I love this country. I just can't shake this feeling that there's something up, like there's something else. I feel it stronger and stronger every day to the point where I believe that if you choose this woman to be president of the United States, you will regret it. You will seriously regret it. There's something brewing that doesn't make sense. How do you give billions of dollars to other countries, billions of dollars for people to come here, but give the actual people from here $750 after a hurricane destroys their home, kills their family and friends? And how do you do that with a straight face? All of these celebrities and all of these just people on TV, all the people on TV, hating him so much, for me, there's something more than what we know, than what they're telling us. It's like, the movie where the guy is a hostage. There's an intruder in his home and he's a hostage, and he's been there for a couple of days. So now people are starting to worry about him. His girlfriend comes to the door. The criminal is like, go to the door, get her out of here, tell her to go away, or I'm going to blow her head off. And he has a gun to the back of the hostage's head. And he's like, I'm telling you, get her away from here. I'm going to blow her head off. I'm going to bring her in here and I'm going to torture her, blah, 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 blah. So he opens the door and the woman's like, honey, where have you been? You don't answer my calls. And he's like, get out of here, go away. She's like, why? And he's like, get out of here. She's like, no, I'm not leaving. I love you. And he's like, I don't love you. I don't love you anymore, okay? Don't you get it? I don't want you. Go. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, why are you still here? And he's dying inside because it's not how he really feels. But he's saying it to save her. That's why he has to say, I hate you, go away. Aside from the fact that the saving part, I haven't gone that far as to why they're doing this. But the way the celebrities are kind of blindly hating him, and the media, everything he says, it's almost like there's a gun to their head. Like they're being forced to say they hate him. That's what I'm getting at. Guys like Jessica Alba, Ben Stiller, and, the creepiness in their interviews when they're just like, I stand for women's rights. I want women to have their rights. And it's like, what? And first of all, anybody in Hollywood that talks about women's rights is ridiculous. The world of drugging and raping women and everybody turning a blind eye, you're going to tell me you care about women's rights? This is crap. No, they don't. No, they don't. And after they say that, they kind of don't have anything else to say. It's like they're told to drive that point home and then just say whatever after that. So they're like, the joy, the change, the new, the black woman, and they're just like, there's just so much joy and happiness around her. What the hell are you talking about? How do you stop world wars with joy and happiness? Like, do you really think that this woman is going into Korea, Iran, Russia, anywhere, making any changes or any impact on anything or anyone or their decisions. Like, come on, seriously. We're not voting for homecoming queen, guys. Don't let celebrities make you stupid. For whatever reason, they're being forced, paid, threatened, blackmailed, whatever, to tell you to vote for this woman. You cannot fall for this game. Then they talk about race. This is the party of the non-racist, right? But you're supposed to vote for her because of her skin color. Vote for her because of her skin color? That is racist. You don't vote for the president of the United States because of their skin color. What? And then she's not even black. And you don't vote for the president of the United States because of their sex. You don't do that. Anybody asking you to do that is not encouraging you to make the right decision. You have to see that. Get out of your cloud, put down your joint for a half a minute, and recognize when you're being tricked and used. This is a party that wants you to think that they're not racist and they care about human rights and women's rights and families. Even though they try to force you to get vaccines, they hide evidence that vaccines do terrible things to children, infants. They hide statistics from you. Why would they do that if it's not something nefarious? They don't want you to be able to defend yourself. Creators of the Constitution of America created your right to bear arms so you can protect yourself from a tyrannical government. They want to limit your ability to defend yourself against them. It has nothing to do with school shootings. Please, you have to understand what I'm saying here. They want to keep you from being able to share information online to help people make informed decisions instead of just being spoon-fed their rhetoric, their opinions, their agendas, and their belief system. They don't want you to have differing opinions. This is the communist aspect that Trump is trying to explain to you. What they do is tell you that they're helping you, giving you aid, giving you assistance. They don't want you to have many different opinions. They want to be the driving force behind your lack of faith in God. They want to be the driving force behind your obsession with ridiculousness, TV, sex, drugs, music. They want you to focus on those things and believe that everything else, they have it under control. You don't need to worry about it. The reason why they want Roe v. Wade is not because they care about a female's right to choose. It's because they care about the government's right to choose. Trump has told you time and time again, he is not overturning abortion. He just doesn't want the government to be in charge of it. Do you understand? Easier to control you if they make the decision about everything. What we eat, our medicines, our hospitals, our how far we're allowed to go individually when it comes to business and farming. And they don't want individuality and sovereignty. They want you to be a part of their organization, their 1, 2, 3 program, where they tell you where you're allowed to live, how far you're allowed to go out of your jurisdiction. Like, I don't even want you to have religion because faith in God is the number one thing that gives you freedom of mind, freedom of heart, freedom of choice. As long as you believe in God, you will have a constant reminder that there's nothing to fear on this earth. And there's no one that is ultimately in charge of you besides your creator. And they don't want you to think that way. That's why they've pushed into a corner and ostracized people that want to stand firm on God's word. People that don't want to muddy the waters and blend and blur the understanding of what is a man and what is a woman. They don't want you to think about that. They want you to let them tell you what that means. Really think that it's a coincidence that all of these people in Hollywood with all of this free sex, drugs, and transgender kids, the trend of transgender kids, is it really not suspicious to you that all of these people are liberals, that all of these people take time out of their day to tell you to vote for Kamala? Like, it hasn't piqued your interest at all? It's just weird to me that more people aren't asking questions about this and wondering what the hell is going on. To have a true one world government, a real communistic, is that a word? I don't know. A real communist society, you have to do away with borders. If you just let anybody and everybody come, the structure of our country, our laws and things like that are going to break down. It's not because they want to help other people. It's because it makes it easier for them to control a wider, broader range until the entire world is under one regime. That's the idea here, guys, to cause utter pandemonium and chaos. So then we all look to them as our savior. It's not confusing at all why the Democrats were the ones who wanted to keep slavery. Some people feel like that's weird. It doesn't make sense. No, it's not. The Republican Party was never the party of racism. It was always the Democratic Party. It has not changed. The only difference is they are approaching it through different ways and means. Instead of telling you that you're less than, they say, oh, you're being discriminated against. Let me take care of it for you. That's telling you that you're less than. They want you to think that you're not capable of success without them being in charge of every single. Why do you think that when you are on Section 8 and they give you housing, that they come and monitor your housing, monitor who lives with you, monitor what you're doing? Because you agreed to give up freedom when you get their assistance. You agree to not have a family anymore. You agree to not being married. You give your children to the system. You agree to not have a male leading your household. Right? The more you allow them to do things for you, make decisions for you, help you, the more you allow them to help you, the more you give up control of your own rights as a human being. Vote Trump. They're saying that Trump is doing something that they're doing, taking away your human rights, taking away your individuality. Individuality is deeper than who you have sex with. Nobody can take that away from you. It's your business. Conservatives don't want to take that away from you. It's all a lie. Make the right decision this November. Do it for your family. Do it for your children's futures.